Welcome. I bid you welcome, John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, coming to you from a music corner of the world. And today I had this thought that I wanted to start a kind of another new series of sorts. We'll see how well it goes and how long I keep it up. Um, and I know this is probably a popular thing amongst a lot of channels, but I think a lot of people just have their own stories to tell on certain albums that have made an impact on their lives. And so today I decided I wanted to do a song ranking for an album. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to see about doing this as a weekly thing. But I'm going to start with a band, the first letter of the alphabet. So I'm just going to pick a band from A to Z, essentially, and talk about the album a little bit, and and just rank the songs. As far as what's my favorite, what's my least favorite. Um, Today, the one I'm going to pick for A. This is probably an album that a lot of people love, and I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of opinions about. Um, but it is still an album that has always resonated with me. Um, it is actually the third album by this particular band, although here in the States, it got a little delayed in coming out. I'm sure some of you may have already figured this out. Yeah. Um, ACDC, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. So the great Hypnosis cover here. Now, this was originally released in Australia, like about September of 1976. Has a completely different track listing than this version. So the Australian version starts off with Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, of course. But the second track is Ain't No Fun Waiting Around to Be a Millionaire. The third track is There's Gonna Be Some Rockin', and then it concludes with Problem Child. You flip the side over, starts off with Squealer, goes into Big Balls, and then here we go to Rock in Peace, R.I.P. And next would be Ride On, concluding with the song Jailbreak, which they would eventually release on the Jailbreak 74 EP. Um, Now, the American version has of course, Dirty Deeds, a new track, Love at First Feel, Big Balls, Rocker, which the only time you saw Rocker at this point, I believe, was just on If You Want Blood, You've Got It, the live version. Um, Ends with Problem Child, which for the American fans of the band, if they had already picked up like Let There Be Rock. Of course, that song's on there. Side two, there's gonna be some rockin'. Ain't No Fun Waiting Around to Be a Millionaire, Ride On, and Squealer. It ends the album. So my ranking is gonna be the American version, since that's the version I have. I think I have the bonus tracks in like the back tracks and different stuff like that. So I probably could I probably could do something there, but I'm going to stick with the American version. Now, here's a little fun factoid. So this particular pressing I have here, this one came out in 1994. Now, what's so special about that, you may ask? This version actually has the Australian version of um, of Dirty Deeds, as well as Ain't No Fun Waiting Around to Be a Millionaire. Um, Wiki says Big Balls was a little longer, but I it seems like it's the same length to me. But yeah, you get so Dirty Deeds is a little bit longer. You have a little bit of kind of space after that second to last bridge about the contracts and neckties, high voltage and all that. And there's like a little bit more of an instrumental section there um, with some vocal ad lib before they go into the Dirty Deeds. Um, And I think Ain't No Fun, I think just kind of jams out for a while. It's been a while since I've listened to that version. But anyway, Dirty Deeds for me, I was starting to get into ACDC. Um, Probably about the time the American release came out for this. Um, I heard through some elementary school classmates and a couple of other, maybe the radio. Um, ACDC was really hitting it big. At this point, Back in Black was blowing up. But a lot of people were also clamoring for Highway to Hell. And then they released Dirty Deeds, which does seem kind of strange as they're trying to reinvent themselves with this new singer. But Atlantic capitalized on it, and a lot of people gravitated to it. It went to number 3 in the charts. So, um, but so I was hearing a little bit of everything from those 3 albums. I can remember hearing Highway to Hell on the radio. I heard Dirty Deeds. Um, Trying to think what else I had heard on the radio back then. Maybe Problem Child. I don't know. I'm not 100% on that, and of course all the Back in Black stuff. So that was my gateway from Kiss was ACDC. That would become kind of the next band I would get into. So and I have to admit, I think of those 3 albums, I sometimes tend to go back to this one, sometimes more Highway to Hell, and some days it's Back in Black. Some days it could be all 3 of them tied for first place for me. And I know a lot of people, they say, well, what about Powerage? Or, High Voltage is also a really good album. Um, and Let There Be Rock, of course. I love all the Bon Scott era stuff, but probably Highway to Hell and Dirty Deeds are the 2 that I really gravitate toward the most, and probably High Voltage. Um, so here we go. So I'm going to rank the songs as I like them on this album. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Comment, let me know what you think about this, and let's get going. So, probably to no surprise, the bottom track for me has always been "There's Gonna Be Some Rockin'." It's not a bad rocker. I feel like it's just kind of something that's just thrown together. So it has never really like been my favorite. Yeah, it's just kind of like to me, kind of it was a weak track to open side 2. Um, but from there, it gets very, 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 very difficult. Um, I would say number 8 would be "Ain't No Fun Waiting Around to Be a Millionaire." Again, it's 7 minutes long, and the Australian version was a little longer, about almost 7:30. Um, it tells a fun story, and it's a fun rocker, and but something's got to take those bottom 2 spots. um, Number 7 is going to be Rocker. I like the song. Don't get me wrong. It's like Chuck Berry on steroids or speed and cocaine and whatever else you want to throw in there. But it's still a fun track. Um, let's see. Number 6. Gosh, this is gonna hurt me to do this, put this down so low, but I gotta say Squealer. It ends the album so well. It's just a menacing little track. So I really dig that one. Um, Number 5. Um, Boy, I'm gonna say for all its silliness, I'm gonna go Big Balls. Um, the funny story I have with Big Balls is I don't know. I guess I was listening to it and on the headphones, and my mom was walking uh by my room, and she heard me singing the song, and she's like, what is that?" And of course, me being the naive idiot that I was back then, I had already been playing Clue, so I thought, and there's the ballroom, so I always associated balls like that with, ballroom dancing kind of thing. I certainly never thought of it as, as something more of a slang derogatory term. I was in 6th grade going into 7th grade for crying out loud. Heck, I was listening to Kiss for all those years, and it took me a long time before I finally realized what songs like Plaster Caster and Ladies in Waiting and Mr. Speed and some of those songs were all about. So, so I guess I should be thankful I didn't know what it meant. Um, but anyway, so yeah, we'll go big balls. You gotta love Bon Scott's vocal delivery here. The whole upper echelon kind of voice, and he speaks and sings, and yeah, it's just a fun track. Um, the number four track, the slow blues of Ride On. Golly, what a great song! I really like that one so much. Um, Number three, Love at First Feel. I don't know. There's something about that. I love the feel of the song, no pun intended. Lyrically, it is a naughty, naughty song, but it's that was Bon Scott. Of course you're gonna get something like that. I mean, this is the same guy that did big balls for crying out loud. But yeah, the newer I always liked Love at First Feel. Great track. Um, Number two, Problem Child, great closer to the side, great track. Again, Angus's work here, just amazing. The band is just firing on all cylinders. So that obviously leaves the title track as my favorite from this album, and I've always adored the title track to this song. Um, the simple chords, the and all this stuff of the during the verses and what all of it meant and stuff like that. As a kid, I didn't know what any of that stuff meant. I'm just trying to figure out all the lyrics to the silly thing. But although my vinyl version I had all the lyrics, so I could read along with them, still didn't understand them. But anyway, so there you go. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Letter A of this new series I'm probably going to called A to Z Song Ranking. So let me know what you think about this in the comments. And, what did this album mean to you? Do you even like ACDC? Who knows? Um, I got a plethora of stuff behind me. So, next week I'm going to come back with something in with the letter B. So maybe y'all could take a guess at what I might be picking. So you never know. But it's got to be something I have. I'm not going to do something I just have on iTunes or Spotify version. So it's got to be something I have on CD or vinyl or something like that. So anyway, let me know what you think. Hopefully I'll continue to do this and bring them out like on Tuesdays. Try and get some just some extra programming here going and have a little fun with it. So there you go. Um, Johnny Claus or Johnny Metal the Metal Dad saying rock forever, y'all. I hope your balls are swinging to the left or swinging to the right. You never know. So we'll talk to you soon. Take care.